Well, hello, y'all, and welcome back on this fine Mother's Day. Cause I've been so busy these past few weeks, and I've got just a little bit of time, I do have to go see my mother later today. But before then, I was like, screw it, let's get the podcast done with, cause I didn't do it. I should have done it last night. And just for a variety of reasons, I didn't. So we're doing it tonight. We have a few things. We got like 2.5 news. I'm gonna say 2.5 news stories. We got a few WIBE things. We got a food thing. We got a movie. We do not have the sheep detectives. I saw Mortal Kombat. I did that, but I was gonna go see the sheep detectives because that was the one I was actually excited for. And I hadn't bought tickets for it or anything, so I went to look at tickets for the showing I was planning on seeing. And it was sold out. They sold out on seats, which is crazy to think about. But it did happen, so... Yep, I have not seen it as of yet. I will probably not today, because, Mother's Day, but maybe like tomorrow or Tuesday. I'll get around to it, and I will most definitely get around to it. I've been too interested in the movie for too long, and clearly everybody else is as well, or else I would have seen it by now. So it's just, it is the way it is. But yeah, we got hopefully not a bad show. We're doing Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. We're beating the DLC, at least that is my plan. And then after that, we've got the Marble League. And I think that's about it. So I don't know how long... Preferably I'd like to only go for like an hour, maybe 2 hours with the Marble League. But we'll see, however it shapes out. So with that, let me boot up Captain Toad. And let me get right into it. Alright, here we are, Captain Toad. So, for gaming news tonight, our big gaming news story is all about Star Fox. Nintendo, for probably not the first time ever, but for the first time in a long time, just randomly did a direct. So we have to talk about that. Also this week was Nintendo's financial reports. They have to do financial reports every quarter or so. And, like Xbox's financial report was like 2 weeks ago. And we just didn't talk about that because it wasn't actually that good. But, Asha Sharma said some reassuring things. But, of course, I'm more invested in Nintendo than anything else. So, of course, we're going to talk about Nintendo's role in this thing and how that all shapes out. I'm hopeful. And finally, as both part of that, but also a news story, we do have to talk about the Switch 2 price increase. So that's the other big thing. I'll give my take on it. It's a very cold, very lukewarm take. But come on, at this point, that's to be expected. So let's start off with the Star Fox Direct. So randomly on Tuesday, Wednesday. I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday. I was at work. Let me see. May 6th was Wednesday. So yeah, on Wednesday, I'm at work, and I get this notification on my phone. Like, hey, check out the new Star Fox Direct. And it was from the Nintendo Today app. And I just figured, like, oh, it was Nintendo announcing they're doing a Star Fox Direct, like tomorrow or whatever. No, it was a notification that the Direct had just started. I guess they had announced it like 15 minutes prior. I didn't see that part. I only saw the, hey, it just went live notification. So I literally started watching it and was like, oh shit, this is an actual Direct. Okay, I guess I'll get back to this later. And so we did. There is my live reaction. It's up over on YouTube. Overall, though, I will say I am very optimistic about this. Yes, is it just Star Fox 64 again? Yes. Yes, it is just Star Fox 64 again. And are they clearly doing this as some sort of synergy for the Mario movie? Also, yes. I do wonder which one came first. Because we know that Illumination asked Nintendo to put Star Fox in the movie. And Nintendo, you know, were originally hesitant, but eventually they said yes. Eventually Nintendo agreed to it. So that does make me wonder, you know, when Nintendo said yes to them, did they then put this game into production? Or just based on the general sense of Nintendo's catalog and the fact that they've already used up basically every other IP, every other major IP, was this already into production and they just decided to coincide this with this game's release because it was better brand synergy? That would be my guess. Is that they already had some sort of Star Fox thing in production, and we're just kind of holding it, waiting for this direct, waiting for the movie to come out, because we know for a fact Nintendo will hold games for years even. I mean, Tears of the Kingdom, Donkey Kong Bonanza, I want to say Tomodachi Life as well, were all held for at least a year before they released. And there's rumors of stuff they're even holding right now. Like, there was this rumor about a Kirby Planet Robobot remake that we haven't heard anything from, you know, in years. Same thing with Wind Waker and Twilight Princess remakes. They were rumored years ago now. And at the time, Nate the Hate was just like, yeah, they're holding on to them until, you know, whatever next comes. And I think that makes sense. I would have preferably have liked to have seen them by now. But you never know. You know, Nintendo will hold on to stuff till the day they die, I guess. Of course, this was also rumored, this whole Star Fox thing. Nate the Hate talked about it. And I've seen a lot of things of like, oh, is Nate the Hate also implying that there's going to be another Star Fox game? That, like, there's a remake and an original one? I don't think so, but I think anything is possible. Because Nintendo likes to do a thing where they will test out if a franchise is successful. So, like, the most famous example I can think of is Chibi Robo Ziplash. After, you know, years of Chibi Robo not being successful, Nintendo released Chibi Robo Ziplash and was basically like, hey, if this game fails, the franchise is dead. And guess what? The Chibi Robo franchise is currently dead, and it sucks, and I hate it. And I would love for them to give the series another shot, but who knows if that'll ever actually happen. And they've done the, you know, there are other things that work like this. Pikmin kind of felt like that for a while. Nowadays, Pikmin's in a really good spot, but it wasn't always. What's the other big one? I mean, I guess you could say Star Fox is in that spot, because Star Fox Zero, I mean, did not do that well, because it was on the fucking Wii U. I'm sure there are others that I just can't think of. But yeah, this very much does feel like a test. Like Nintendo is testing to see if the franchise is successful or not. And so if this new Star Fox game does well, we'll probably get a new one, probably even an original one. But if it doesn't do well, then the franchise is dead. I hate to say that, I hate to be that, you know, pessimistic about things, but that's just how it works. If the new Star Fox game don't do well, the series is gone. Forever. Okay, not forever, but they'll probably give it like another 20 years before they try again. I mean, it's been a decade since they last tried. So this one is playing it extremely safe. It is just Star Fox 64 again, which, don't get me wrong, Star Fox 64 is a good game. But this is the 4th time they've remade Star Fox. I don't know, someone tried to explain it that, so there was the original Star Fox on NES. And then Star Fox 64 was basically a soft reboot of the franchise. And it basically just improved upon everything. You know, it's the PS1 Resident Evil to the PS2 Resident Evil. It's just kind of basically a soft reboot of the whole thing. Just fixing all of its problems. Then you have Star Fox 64 3D, which is a remake. just a straight up remake of the original, but on the 3DS. Then you have Star Fox Zero, which was another reboot. You know, hey, we're going to take the same ideas as the original Star Fox, as Star Fox 64, and just do it again for the first time. And that's a very complicated game. It's technically not a good one. I had my fun with it here and there, but it suffered from bad controls. And now we have this, which I know that they say this is a remake, and in a lot of ways, this does very much seem like a remake of Star Fox 64. But they're also going in, and they're kind of like changing story elements. They're adding more story elements, because like the cutscene we see in this direct that shows Fox McCloud, you know, James McCloud, Peppy being betrayed by Pigma, that's usually the opening cutscene of Star Fox. You know, or that's usually not a cutscene, but like a text scroll. Like I think Star Wars. Star Fox is very heavily inspired by Star Wars. And that just feels like, okay, this is our opening crawl. Now we're actually getting to see that scene. We get to see Pigma betray Fox, and we get to see Peppy run away while Fox stayed behind. And while in the original crawl, it was that they were captured and Peppy escaped while James, you know, died. They've changed it now where Peppy gets away and we don't know what happens to James. This, you know what? I've been saying a lot with Ocarina of Time that I want them to give Ocarina of Time the Final Fantasy VII Remake treatment. You know, take what works about the original and kind of completely retell it. They might potentially be doing something similar. Like, it's obviously not going to be one for one, and this one's going to play it a lot safer than Final Fantasy VII Remake. But if they're going back in and expanding the characters, expanding the lore, this might just be, you know, full-on, like, remake potential. I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting to say the least, and I am very interested to see where this is going to go. Of course, this thing has been mirrored in controversy outside of it just being a Star Fox 64 remake. The big one is they changed the character designs, and they made them look more animalistic. And some people really do not like these new character designs. Personally, I think they're fine. I don't want to say I love them, as they're not anything like amazing, but I think they're fine. I think some people just immediately write them off because they're different, because they look more like animals. When no, I do not think they're terrible. You know what? I've seen a lot of comparisons, but the one that I think of, they remind me of Star Wars. Like, if you went into the Star Wars universe and told me, like, hey, here's a fox person from the planet, you know, Corneria. I could see it kind of looking like, if you told me one of the Disney movies was doing this, I would kind of see it look like Fox. That's why I use the title The Fox Awakens for this episode, because that's what this all kind of reminds me of. This reminds me of The Force Awakens. Like, yes, I know you could argue that Star Fox Zero was just The Force Awakens, you know, taking the same story we love, but telling it in a slightly different way. Like, yes, that is technically true, but this also does just feel like a J.J. Abrams, you know, retelling of the story, but just slightly different. This is just Star Wars The Force Awakens, but with Star Fox characters. I will stand by that. And yeah, because I don't know how much people say Star Fox takes from Star Wars. I kind of feel like it's more than some people would be willing to admit, but I think that's fine. And yeah, I think all these new character models are fine. We've seen a lot more since the Direct. You know, we've seen how Wolf and his Star Wolf looks. We've seen what Andross looks like. We've seen what Kitty looks like. I know some people really hate the Kitty design. Yes, it does not look anything like the original character, but I still think it's fine. Like, I don't want them to just one-for-one adapt the girly pink cat with, you know, the tragic backstory. Do things a little differently. And I think this different is fine. Now, I have seen some people mad that they're not adapting the movie's design. That the Star Fox movie gave Fox a new design. You know, that's based on the original, but it looked very good. And yeah, I will agree. I think the Star Fox movie design looked very good. And if they had just adapted the movie, I think this would have been fine. But clearly they had something else they wanted to do. And overall, I think it's okay that they're trying to do something different. I think this new design looks fine. I'm overall, you know, mostly invested in it. So yeah, just kind of go off, I guess. I'm not as much of a hater as other people are. There are some serious haters out there. No, this looks good. And the fact that this is now, as of this moment, this is the top-selling game on Amazon for Nintendo Switch, it shows that other people do like it as well. It also helps that Amazon is selling it at the discounted price, the digital price, which is also nice. But so is Walmart. So, as a Star Fox 64 remake, it more or less seems like what we were expecting, you know. All the story beats are probably going to more or less be the same. I mean, they could make some massive changes, but we don't know that yet. It seems to control like how you remember, you know, the characters are mostly the same. It's what you'd expect from a Star Fox 64 remake. I think that's all fine. You know, the whole on-rail shooter, branching path thing is back. The Landmaster and the Blue Marine are going to be back. You're going to go to all the different planets. Corneria, Fashina, Solar, Zonus, Meteo, the X, Y, and Z sectors. It works just like the Star Fox 64 you know and questionably love. I mean, because, again, part of this is an introduction for an entire generation of kids who have never played a Star Fox game. Because there has not been a new Star Fox game in 10 years. And Star Fox Zero on the Wii U did not do that well because it was on the fucking Wii U. I mean, before then you had, what, Assault and Command, which I don't know how Command did, but I know Assault was controversial to say the least. Even though I've heard it's like a Sonic Unleashed thing, where like half of Assault is very good, the other half isn't. Then you have Adventure, which is just a Zelda game, from what I remember. I don't know, I've never played any. That scared the shit out. I don't know if you heard that, but the talking flower just talked. Scared the shit out of me. Oh my gosh. But no, this is, because, yes, the original Star Fox on the N64 sold like 4 million units, which is not too terrible by any means. So the idea that they're going to try to recapture that, I think makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of potential for them to do, you know, great things here. And if it does well, then we'll get a new one. At least, that's the hope. That's my hope, anyways. Everything you expect, free-flying dogfights, the boss fights, the branching path narrative. They've added difficulty. I know it wasn't in the original, but I don't think there was a difficulty setting in the 3DS version as well. So having difficulty settings in this also does make sense. There's an easy, a normal, and an expert difficulty. Different levels will have different challenges. So you can go into a level and they'll be, basically, they're kind of like achievements, where it's like, hey, go into this level and defeat the red samurai enemy. And like, that's a special achievement you can get. I know some people really want Nintendo games to have achievements. And, like, they don't, but they also kind of do. It's just they don't have an external achievement system. All Nintendo achievements are internal. And some people don't, some people want that external achievement. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but I know some people really care. But I feel like the challenge, for, you know, people who have played this game dozens of times, because it only takes like an hour to get through a campaign. Star Fox 64, because of its branching path narratives, is something that's designed to be replayed over and over again. It's very different from, like, if they were to make a game like this in 2026. You know, if we do end up getting a new Star Fox game, it's going to be very different for that exact reason. But I feel like adding challenges is just adding more stuff to do. It's both adding to the replayability, but it's also just making the game more interesting. There's a multiplayer battle mode. You can play online, you can play with friends, play with randos, game share and game chat support. It's dogfighting, so there are 3 different modes. There's one that has you taking control of the zone, one that has you collecting energy crystals, and then one that has you retrieving cargo and taking it to the base. So, you know, it's your standard, like, Mario Kart affair, you know, you've got coin runners, you've got, I don't know, like a capture the flag thing, and then the zone one, I guess, is King of the Hill. I don't know, it seems fine. Are you actually going to play it that much? Probably not, but it seems fine. You know, it'll be one of those things you check out for, like, an hour, and it's like, okay, I had fun with that, I guess. There are mouse controls. They're adding there's mouse targeting, which gives you like a first-person view. I do kind of hope that that's optional, and like there's, you know, you can do the first-person view without the mouse controls, and then you can also do mouse controls in third person. Of course, there's also gyro aiming and all that. This game is Switch 2 exclusive. I've seen some people say that it should have come to Switch as well. I actually do kind of wish it was also coming to Switch, because that doesn't guarantee it'll sell better, as we're about to talk with Metroid Prime 4, but it would most likely sell better if it was coming to both, but the OG Switch probably just can't run it. But out of all the games to be announced for Switch 2, this is maybe the only one where I'm like, that maybe should have also come to Switch. Like most other things, I think is fine. But this is the one where I'm like, no, you could have brought that to Switch as well. And then our release date, June 25th. A little over a month from now. Which is crazy. Because I was if you've, been watching these past few weeks, especially when we talked about Splatoon Raiders, I remember mentioning, like, hey, we don't have a June game. And my prediction at the time was that the reason why we didn't have a June game from Nintendo was because Rhythm Heaven got delayed till July. That originally Rhythm Heaven was supposed to be in July. Splatoon was in July. Rhythm Heaven was originally in June. Splatoon was in July. And then Star Fox was going to be August. Those were my predictions. But no, Star Fox is in August. And then we're getting 2 games in July. Nothing for August so far, but I think that's what the June Direct is for. It's earlier than I thought. Next up, character avatars. They're doing like a thing where you can take these character avatars that they used for like the little talking heads in the game, and you can use them in game chat. It's not anything that special, but I think it's cute. I have seen some people theorize that part of the reason the models look bad in this game, the character models, is because they had to develop them for this motion capture software, and that makes the models look worse. Because I have seen some people do edits where literally all they change is the eyes. They make the eyes bigger, and it kind of does do a world of difference. I don't want to say it like fixes everything, but I see the vision with the bigger eyes. It has N64 controller support, and then the original trailer ended off with this prolonged cutscene, just kind of showing how the game opens. Which, yeah, I think it's fine. Getting to, see what changes were being made. Afterwards, on Twitter and whatnot, we did find out the price. The price is $50 digital, $60 physical. And I'll be honest, I think that is a fine price. Do I kind of wish it was $10 cheaper, if only so that I know it would sell more copies? Yes. I do kind of wish they gave it the Rhythm Heaven price, but I don't think it's like a terrible price point or anything. It's a lot better than the $70 they could have charged. Because you and I both know Nintendo. Nintendo is not afraid to charge $70 for a game. They could have done that. They didn't. And then, of course, there are some places like Walmart and Amazon who are going to be selling the game at 50 instead of 60. That they want to match that, you know, they've determined that it's in their best interest to match that digital price point. And yeah, that's up to, you know, they're willing to lose some money on that. And if that's them, that's them. So yeah, overall, I think it's fine. It does kind of suck that the entire weight of the Star Fox franchise is being held on another remake of 64. But it also is 64. 64 is a good game. It may be a little dated because, you know, it's an arcade shooter, an on-rails arcade shooter, but maybe it's fine. Maybe a lot of our worries are for nothing. You know, the thing is, I was talking about this with someone on TikTok. Every Switch game, almost every first-party Switch game, has sold at least 1 million units. So this will at least sell like 1 million units. Probably. There is something that happened recently that means that it might not do that. But that gives me hope. And then the other thing is we just got off a Star Fox movie. It is pretty widely agreed upon that Star Fox was the best part of the the Galaxy movie. Okay, maybe not the best part, but one of the better parts. And there were people who were literally joking that Rosalina sacrificed her screen time in the new Galaxy movie in order to get Star Fox a new game. And that more or less seems to be true. That seems to be what happened. Because yeah, we got a new Star Fox game now. So, before we move on, the last thing I do want to talk about is, so originally this whole Star Fox thing was a rumor by Nate the Hate, who said that we were both getting a Star Fox, you know, a new Star Fox game, but also a remake of Ocarina of Time. Do I think that, yes, does this confirm Ocarina of Time? No, but it steers us in the right direction. The thing about Ocarina of Time is it feels like one of those things that we've always wanted to happen. I have been saying for years now that I would like an Ocarina of Time remake in the same fashion as like Final Fantasy VII Remake. I feel like that would be amazing. Are we going to get that? I don't know. Because the other complication here is that this is a, you know, more or less faithful remake of Star Fox 64. So if we are getting something new, it might potentially be just a one-to-one faithful remake of the N64 Ocarina of Time. That, hey, if they were willing to play it safe with Star Fox, I see no reason they wouldn't play it safe with Ocarina. Whereas, there's a part of me that would be like, I know there are some people who just straight up want that one-to-one safe remake of Ocarina. And if that's what we get, as long as they bring the changes from the 3DS, you know, the iron boots, the little changes they did to, like, the water temple, I'd be fine with that. I feel that, you know, the Gossip Stones. The changes made to Ocarina of Time 3DS were all good changes. And to abandon those would be fucking stupid. But I don't think they're going to do that. I think all those changes are going to come through. But there's a part of me that's like, I would love to see them do something more. I don't just want Ocarina of Time in Breath of the Wild art style. I feel like it takes some influence from Final Fantasy VII. Kind of reimagine your narrative. That would be really interesting. I just don't think they're going to do it. It'd be cool if they did. But, I mean, either way, I'm probably going to pick it up. But I just think they have the chance to do something really cool with Ocarina. And I just worry they're not going to. But we'll just kind of have to wait and see. Shit. But I do think, yeah, Ocarina, you know, it is the dream. And I do think it is very likely that, yeah, something's going to happen. And we'll find out in June. Which, literally, I think Jeff Keighley posted today that Summer Games Fest is 4 weeks away. So, probably within the next 5 weeks, we will know. Alright, so the next thing we gotta talk about is Nintendo's financial report. So, we found out, you know, an update on how Nintendo's doing financially. Despite what all the grifters will tell you, Spoiler alert, Nintendo's actually doing really well. The Switch 2 is not the massive failure that the grifters make it seem. No, the console is actually very much meeting Nintendo's expectations. Which, if you know anything about Nintendo's expectations, is fucking crazy. Because Nintendo always overestimates things. Nintendo always says that they will sell more consoles than they ever actually do. And it's kind of crazy that no, their pie in the sky number that they always set, they did actually meet. Which just shows you how well things are going. And do not trust these grifters at all. They have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. And they're just profiting off of your clicks. Because, you know, being angry gets more views. That's it. I'll always be real with you all. That's why I'm not a grifter. Because I do not need the views to profit off of Nintendo's failures. But I'll always tell it to you real when Nintendo is being a fuck-ass. So the Switch 2, as of financial year 2026, has sold 19.82 million units. Now, Nintendo's original prediction around a year ago this time, when they did the same financial thing, was that by this time this year, their hope was that they were going to sell 19 million Switch 2s. So the fact that they done that, which is a crazy prediction, right? That's way overestimating things. But it just tells you how successful this console actually is. And that all the people who say there are no games on Switch 2 are just fucking wrong. Like, yeah, there's no Mario or mainline Zelda, but there's still some really good stuff. Especially like with Pokopia and Bonanza and Mario Kart, Kirby. They're all doing great. Okay, admittedly, I wish Kirby was doing better. But yeah. So Nintendo from there set their forecast for 2027, and that they're hoping to sell 16.5. So they are scaling it back. They do plan to just sell less units next year. But it makes sense with the story we're covering a little bit, but also, you know, with everything going on with the global financial market, and how Trump is basically destroying the economy, and nobody can afford anything anymore. Like, it makes sense that no, Nintendo does plan to sell less units next year. Still a high number, though. And then also they did update Switch 1 sales. The Switch 1 has now sold over 155 million units. Which, that, you know, back in the day, that would have made it the most successful console on the market. Technically, it doesn't anymore, because PlayStation keeps pulling new consoles out of their ass. But, hey, you know, it's better than the DS, it's better than basically everything else. I still take it as a win. Next up, Pokopia. Pokopia has now sold 4 million units in just 5 weeks. That makes it the third best-selling Pokemon spin-off game. After just 5 weeks. There is no way this isn't the best-selling Pokemon spin-off game. Just give it a few more weeks, this will be the best-selling Pokemon spin-off game. You know, the fact that there was someone who was like telling off Joe Merrick and was like, no, this game's a failure. Only 4 million units. 4 million units is fucking crazy for 5 weeks. So yeah, I'd say I think they're doing pretty good. We also got Fire Red and Leaf Green, you know, those random ports they just threw up on the eShop one day. Yeah, those have also sold 4 million in about the same time frame. So those are also doing pretty well. But those are like $20. It's still money's money. Pokemon fucking prints it. Now, another game doing insanely well, Tomodachi Life. Tomodachi Life has sold 3.8 million units, almost as much as Pokopia, in half the time. Tomodachi Life, Living the Dream, sells 3.8 million units in just 2 weeks. Even with Nintendo, you know, not allowing you to share stuff, this game was going to be huge. It was always going to be huge. And guess what? It's fucking huge. It's doing so well. Yeah, no shit. That's crazy, though. In just 2 weeks, almost 4 million units. Next up, Pokemon Legends ZA is at 12.79 million units, with 8.85 on the original Switch, and then 3.94 on Switch 2. Either way, doing pretty well. I think that's more, it's on the higher end of the Pokemon charts, but I think it's like towards the Switch, it's kind of like middle of the road high. It's not compared to some of the other Switch Pokemon games, it's not doing as well, but also that's after only a few months. So it's still doing pretty well. Now, we do have some negative stories. Not every game is selling well. Specifically, Metroid Prime 4 and Mario Tennis Fever. Now, we do not know how many units either of those games have sold, but Nintendo usually only does a financial report on a game after it's reached 1 million sales. So the fact that we don't have any information on Metroid Prime 4 or Mario Tennis Fever means that they've each sold under 1 million units. Which, that fucking sucks. Mario Tennis Fever doesn't surprise me. This is the second Mario Tennis game in 8 years. Even though it's one of the better ones, in my opinion. I liked it way more than the previous 2 Mario Tennises. Especially the Wii U one. The Wii U one fucking sucks. But even with that, it's just not doing as well. And the fact that, yeah, it hasn't sold 1 million doesn't really surprise me. Yes, it's working off of less of an install base, but even still. Now, the one that does surprise me is Metroid Prime 4, because that launched on both Switch and Switch 2. So you have the Switch 2's, 20 million user base, and then the original Switch's 155 million user base, and it didn't sell over 1 million units. That's crazy. So I don't know what Metroid Dread sales numbers are. I want to be clear, Metroid has never sold well. Metroid is at its best a critical darling. It has never met the sales. So Metroid Prime 4 not selling well doesn't surprise me, but I kind of feel like, especially after Dread, which I'm pretty sure is the best-selling game in the series, I was hoping it would do a little better. Yeah, Metroid Dread is the best-selling game in the series at over 3 million units. So, I wouldn't expect it to be over 3 million, but literally potentially selling under 1 million with Prime 4. Metroid Other M sold more than 1 million units. Don't get me wrong, we still have time. Prime could still sell 1 million. But fuck, man. It not selling that well kind of sucks. It's sold, closer to Zero Mission, or Samus Returns, or Prime Pinball, or fucking... No, it's definitely sold better than Federation Force, that's for sure. But yeah, we just don't know what the sales numbers are. But either way, I was hoping it would do better. I bought it. I think it's okay, but I don't know. I really hope we do get more, because here's the thing. If it doesn't sell well, they'll kill off the franchise, especially with how long in development this was. But the fact that Dread is the best-selling game in the franchise means we'll at least get another 2D Metroid. 3D Metroid may be dead forever, which sucks because it seemed like Retro was working on another 3D Metroid. Retroid had planned to go from Prime 4 to Prime 5, and that might not be happening anymore, potentially. I don't know, it depends on how they budgeted this thing, but 8 years in development, it's got to at least have some sort of budget. But I do think getting a sequel to Dread is not safe, but it's more likely. But we'll see. So outside of all the financial stuff, we did get an update that Takashi Tezuka, who is, he's worked at Nintendo as long as Shigeru Miyamoto has, more or less. For the past 40-ish years, he was a developer, one of the people who helped create Mario alongside Miyamoto. He's been there. He worked on Super Mario Bros., The Legend of Zelda on NES. He worked on Super Mario World. Tezuka has been the... he's not as famous as Miyamoto, but he has been around as long as Miyamoto and deserves all the accolades. But he will be retiring. That on June 26th, so in a little more than a month, he will be stepping down and retiring at Nintendo. Because I saw somebody on TikTok talking about how, with everything going on and a potential Ocarina and Star Fox remake, we might be seeing Miyamoto retire. And, I think that would make sense, Miyamoto's earned his retirement as well. But I just don't see Miyamoto retiring. I see he's one of those types of people where if he's worked until the day he dies, even if just as, a consultant or a producer, I fully expect that. But yeah, Tezuka retiring, it makes sense. He's more than earned it at this point. A legendary developer from Nintendo who has done some truly great stuff over the years and doesn't get as much accolades as others, but he's still really good at what he does. So that brings us to our final thing that technically was also revealed at this whole thing, or maybe it was revealed right beforehand. I'm kind of mixed on the timeline. They both happened in the same day, though. And that is that the Switch 2 is going up in price. There was actually a thing earlier in the week, on Monday, that was hey, investors are urging Nintendo to increase the Switch 2's price. Because if you know anything about Nintendo, traditionally, Nintendo is the only of the console manufacturers that actually profits from their console. Both the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox are sold at a loss. They sell them for less money because they know they'll make that money back with the games. Nintendo does not work like that. They sell their consoles at profit and then make profit off of the games. But because of all these tariffs and the AI shortage, the memory loss, the RAM, the GPU shortages, because of all that, Nintendo has actually been selling the Switch 2 at a loss. They took that calculation and decided that, it was better to sell their console at a loss, and they just can no longer keep up with it. So this week, they announced that they will be increasing the price. In the US, the Switch will go from I'm just gonna round up. It'll go from $450 to $500. In Canada, it'll go from $630 to $680, and then in Europe, it'll go from $470 to $500. So it's the smallest increase in Europe, but an increase is an increase. And yeah, this was inevitable. I mean, PlayStation has already raised the price of their consoles. Xbox has raised the price of their consoles. It's just all these AIs are doing is they're just raising the parts of computer opponents. And that was on top of crypto. Crypto was also doing the same thing. This is just worsening that. And to be fair, most cryptos have kind of died at this point. People aren't making NFTs anymore. But even still, all these cryptos just use up memory shortages and they cause all sorts of issues and nobody fucking likes it. I mean, I say that and then you find out oh yeah, that Fruit Love Island is the most watched thing on TikTok. So fuck, man. Some people just love their slop. They love that slop and they want it ported straight into their mouth. But yeah, this is the whole reason the Steam Machine hasn't happened yet. Is, there were rumors that Valve wanted to have the Steam Machine out by, February. But because of all these, RAM shortages and whatnot, they've pushed it out until God knows when. I mean, we're still waiting. And we're going to continue to wait, it seems. They got the controller out, though, and then a bunch of people tried to scalp it, and from what I hear, the second reservation wasn't as bad. But yeah, with the Switch 2 price going up, this is just inevitable. We all knew this was going to happen. It sucks that it had to happen, but we all kind of figured it was not an if, but a when. I do hope that, you know, something eventually breaks and consoles will eventually go down in price again, but we'll just kind of have to wait and see. But right now, things are not looking good. But yeah, basically what I'll end off with is that if you have not bought a Switch 2 and are even slightly interested, you should buy one right now. But because this only goes into effect September 1st. So you still have a little bit. But if you're just slightly interested in Switch 2, you should go buy a Switch 2. It is worth your time. It is a great console. There are some great games, but we also know more great games will be coming in the future. You know, eventually there'll be a Mario. Eventually there'll be a Zelda. Not today, but there will be in the future. And that's, especially like if you never own, if somehow you never owned an OG Switch and you're trying to decide, should I buy an OG Switch? Should I buy a Switch 2? Buy a Switch 2. It's more expensive, but you're getting better hardware and you're investing in the future. Because after Rhythm Heaven, July 2nd, there are not going to be any more Switch 1 games. Rhythm Heaven is probably the last Switch 1 game. Whereas we're probably going to get another, 7 years of Switch 2. Probably. I don't know. Both Xbox and PlayStation are already talking about moving on to the next-gen consoles, be that Project Helix or the PS6. And nobody wants that. I would happily spend another 2 to 3 years with my PS5 and my Xbox. That, we don't need a PS6 yet. We don't need Project Helix yet. But, tradition, oh, we have to move on after 5 or 6 years. No, we don't. We don't. Especially because I don't even feel like they fully did what this current console does. I feel like they never fully did, fully showed what the console is capable of. Because usually later in a console's lifespan, developers understand the console better and are better able to, utilize it. I never got that feeling from the PS5 or the Xbox Series X. I don't feel like there's any game that's like, yes, this is truly utilizing everything that the console can do. Whereas with, the Switch, I got that from Tears of the Kingdom. I feel like Tears of the Kingdom did was the Switch at its maximum. But, what you gonna do? I'm trying to figure out how to get to that last gym. I just don't know. I'll figure it out. So yeah, that's all I got for that. Buy a Switch 2. It's not the perfect system, but I've gotten my money's worth out of it. And you should I literally had a conversation a few weeks ago with somebody, and I was telling them hey, they're going to announce it sooner or later. If you're interested, you should probably pick one up. And then I talked to him a week later and he had picked one up. 'Cause yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it to me. And if you're weigh your odds and you think it might be worth it for you, do it now don't wait until September. I'll tell you that. Alright, so for WIBE, we got a food thing, and I got a movie thing. And that's about it. So, we'll go through them both real quick, and then that's it. And we'll talk about the Marble League and everything else. No Sheep Detective. I know I wanted to see the movie, and I just didn't get around to it. I wanted to, I had planned to, but the theater sold out. And there was just no other convenient showing. Every other showtime, this week, I've been at work, so I have not had time to see it. So, yeah, we'll see. Alright, let's talk about Burger King. So, I think I mentioned this last week. Burger King was doing a collaboration with The Mandalorian. That, because McDonald's is doing the Toy Story collaboration. They gave Burger King the Star Wars collaboration, which is not unheard of. There were the famous Burger King cups. And so we got a whole smorgasbord of stuff, and I want to talk about it all. First one is the BBQ Bounty Whopper. This is a Whopper with Swiss cheese, ranch seasoned crisps. I'm assuming that's onion crisps. And then a creamy bounty barbecue sauce. So, I will be frank, mine did not have the ranch crisps on it. It was just a Whopper with Swiss cheese and barbecue sauce. I did not actually care for the barbecue sauce. I don't know if it... because usually I like Burger King's barbecue sauce. Usually it's pretty decent. This one did not work for me. I don't know if it was just the restaurant I had it at, or if it was like a different style. Whatever it is, I didn't really care for it. Not really too impressed with it. And yeah, not having the ranch seasoned... because at one point I opened it up, and I was like, weren't there supposed to be like onion strings on it? And there just weren't. So yeah, I was a little disappointed in it. It wasn't the worst Whopper I've ever had, but it was far from the best. So I didn't really care for it. Next up is Grogu's garlic chicken fries. They're chicken fries, you know, but they've got like some garlic seasoning on it. Really nothing that special. They're fine. They come with a garlic sauce. So if you've ever had Papa John's garlic sauce, you know, every pizza with Papa John's has a garlic sauce. That's what I would say this is. This is basically like a pizza garlic sauce, but they're giving it to you with chicken. And I'll be honest, I kind of liked it. Maybe it was the novelty of things. Like, I very much think of a garlic sauce with pizza, so having it with chicken was different, but I actually kind of liked it. It's definitely that Papa John's flavor, like it's, you know, clearly, you know, filled with preservatives and whatnot, so that way it'll have a long shelf life. So if you don't care for that, this is not going to change your mind. But for me, I was like, yeah, this is different. I like this. If they kept this around, I would be happy with that. They won't, but hey, you know, it was actually surprisingly good. The Imperial Cheddar Ranch Tots. So these are their like loaded tots, but they've got cheddar and ranch. So we previously talked about the bacon ranch tots. They're the bacon cheese tots. I don't remember what that was for, but I actually really liked the bacon cheese tots. They were kind of breakfasty and like a, you know, potato, cheese, bacon breakfast sort of thing, but they were surprisingly good. So I went into this being like, oh, these are probably going to be good as well. They're not. They're not terrible. I would never get them again. They just were not that good. The idea of them, you know, cheddar ranch tots, sounded like a good idea, but they just didn't hit. And I was just kind of disappointed. Next up is a Grogu's Blue Cookie Shake. So this is a, you know, it's a blue milkshake, but it's got cookie pieces in it. Guess what? It's a cookie dough milkshake. Oh, fuck. It's actually, I don't even think it's cookie dough. I think it's just, you know, like, it's probably, when it says cookie, it's probably closer to Oreo. It's good. No shit, it's, you know, a cookie shake is good. Would I get it again before I get, like, the Wendy's cookie dough frosty again? Probably not. I'd probably go get the Wendy's cookie dough frosty again. But it was still good. Like, yeah, this is one of those things that's hard to fuck up. And spoiler alert, they didn't fuck it up. It was good. And then, so there's like a bundle you can get that comes with everything I just said, as well as a cup. So it comes with like a Mandalorian cup. There's like there's a Mandalorian one, there's a Grogu one, and I think there's like two others, characters who I do not know and do not care about. I got the black one that has the Mandalorian on it. Yeah, okay, it's a cup. I guess in Europe, they're doing this exact same promotion, but the cup changes colors. And nope, not here in America. In America, it's just a cup. And that kind of sucks, you know, color changing cup would have been nice. I mean, other places have done it. I think Jack in the Box for Halloween last year did it. So they could totally do it, they just didn't. Yeah. Overall, the collaboration I was not too impressed with. I don't think it's the worst collaboration I've ever had. You know, this is no SpongeBob, Wendy's collaboration. But it's not as bad as the SpongeBob Wendy's, but it's also not as good as the SpongeBob Burger King was. So, yeah, I'm just not very impressed with it. It's a thing that happened. The cookie shake was good. The garlic sauce was fine. Maybe with, like, some good chicken, the garlic sauce might work better. But, whatever. You know, you did what you could. And yeah, I think that's the only food thing. I know I talked about McDonald's last week, and I was like, oh, you know, maybe I'll try those drinks another time. Not this week. This week was not that other time. I had other things to do. So yeah. So let's talk about Mortal Kombat. So, the original Mortal Kombat movies from the 90s, I do not care for. I've seen both the original and Annihilation. Neither of them are good. We're all kind of aware of it. You know, some people like them because, at least like the original because it's kind of dumb and charming. That's fine. It's not for me. And then Annihilation just sucks. We all know Annihilation sucks. And then the 2020 Mortal Kombat, you know, is one of those things that I relate with COVID. Like, you know, we were in lockdown at the time. They put it out on HBO Max. It was fine. I wasn't, you know, you can literally go and watch me talk about it on this show. No, it was probably during Animal Crossing, so there's probably like an Animal Crossing episode about it. Either way, it was not great, but it was not terrible. It was a movie. I did not care for Cole, their, like, brand new original character created for the movie. He was kind of dumb, and, like, they could have just centered it around, like, many of the other characters that already existed. So, Mortal Kombat 2, 5 years later, I'll say it's better. I still think, you know, it's still Mortal Kombat. It's still kind of basic. It's still kind of dumb. But I feel like they had a better idea of what was going on. And they realized, like, oh, what do people like? Well, they like the fight scenes. They like the comedy. You know, let's lean more into that. And to that end, I do think they were successful. The fight scenes overall are just better. You know, we're a little bit more character focused on actual Mortal Kombat characters. Because our main stars in this movie are Katana and Johnny Cage, you know, two Mortal Kombat characters that people actually like. The main plot is that, hey, guess what? Shao Kahn has kicked off the Mortal Kombat tournament to determine who's going to rule over Earth. Alright, this is the 10th time they're doing it, and if Earth loses for the 10th time, then they lose forever, and Shao Kahn will rule Earth the same way he rules, I think it's like Albus or something like that. And so a group has been gathered, you know, Sonya, Jax, Liu Kang, you know, all characters from the first movie, Cole, and then Johnny Cage has been brought into it. Because, you know, Liu Kang's brother died, the guy with the metal hat, so now they had to bring in somebody new. And yeah, Johnny Cage is it's played by Carl Urban. I think he's good casting. He's fun. He's got his moments. He's not as... I feel like he's more fun in The Boys. But Carl Urban is still fine in the movie. So he's half of our protagonist. And then the other half is Katana. Katana is Shao Kahn's adopted daughter. And she's working to take down her father. You know, she's playing spy. Her and her friend Jade, Jade is loyal to Shao Kahn, and that creates conflict between them. You know, there are still a lot of Mortal Kombat characters who show up in this. Some of which I know. They bring back some classics. It's fine. You know, the story's technically not that great. But it serves its purpose. It doesn't do anything more, but it also doesn't do anything less. Spoiler alert, they kill off Cole, which they not that I, like, hate the character so much that I think he deserved to die, but, like, they had to kill off somebody. And if you told me the only reason they created Cole was to kill him off in this movie, I wouldn't be surprised. He's not the only one who dies, spoiler alert, in a movie called Mortal Kombat. But yeah, overall, it's a fine movie. I'd probably put it around where I put the first one, you know, like a 7. I don't think I'd go up to an 8. I'd probably stick at like a 7. I'd definitely say it's more enjoyable than the first. The first was not terrible, but was not great either. I probably also gave the first like a 6. I might have given it a 7. Either way, yeah, you know, this one's better, but just because it's more, it realized, hey, people are here for the cool fight scenes and the action, and it gives us the cool fight scenes and the action. And it's got some good ones. I'm not super invested in the characters, but the movie doesn't need me to be in order for everything else to work. It's fine. It's a fine movie. I'm kind of like the original Mortal Kombat. I will probably... Because I did think about watching the original Mortal Kombat before watching this new one, and ultimately I didn't. But yeah, I will probably never watch it again. If you're a fan of the game, you'll probably have a good time. They throw in a lot of good references, so that I think fans will very much be appeased. I'm not a huge Mortal Kombat fan. I'd only played like 9 and 10. But, back on what, the Xbox One and the 360? Could never beat Shao Kahn. I could never beat Shao Kahn in Mortal Kombat 9. I do kind of, you know, Shao Kahn is the iconic Mortal Kombat villain. I think he's fine in this. There's a part of me that wanted a little more from him, but, you know, they have a necromancer on their side, so you never know what's going to happen in the future. Spoiler alert, they do set up for another one, so I will not at all be surprised if they make a third one. I don't know, it just depends on how well it does. But yeah, I wouldn't, you know, you might enjoy this. You might enjoy this more than I do. But yeah, it's good that we're now in an age of video game adaptations that aren't afraid to be video game adaptations. Because for the longest time, video game adaptations were afraid to be like, oh, we're video games. Not anymore. And I mean, we're especially seeing that with like Street Fighter. I give a lot of credit to Speed Racer. Speed Racer really, you know, I wish more of these movies would take more lessons from Speed Racer. Because Speed Racer really took some risks. And that movie's fucking crazy, and I'd recommend that to anybody. But yeah, I kind of feel like we're seeing some of that. But Mortal Kombat's more dingy, you know. So yeah, I don't really have many strong thoughts on Mortal Kombat. It was a movie I saw, I had a decent time, you know, what else could you ask for? There's some good action scenes, you know, some fun, creative visuals. It'll be curious to see what happens next. So, yeah, I guess that takes us to Misc. Anything else? Not really. I will say the Parade of Horribles comes out on Tuesday, and I am very excited for the Parade of Horribles. I know a lot of other people have been rereading all the books, because like I've learned in the Dungeon Crawler Carl fandom, once you read a book, oh, do you have any other recommendations? No, just reread the books again. Read them from the start. Maybe do the audio immersion tunnel. I have not been doing that. I did not reread any of the books, but I am excited for Parade of Horribles, and my goal is, you know, when it comes out on Tuesday, I'll start it. I'll hopefully be at least halfway through next week, unless I go Cocoa Bananas and just finish it. I'm pretty sure Parade of Horribles is shorter than Inevitable Ruin, but they're pretty close to one another. So, you know, we'll get there in due time. I need that mushroom. But yeah, anything else? I can't think. Like I said, I'll get around to Sheep Detective. I will. I am interested. It just didn't happen this week, which sucks. And the only reason Mortal Kombat happened is because I had already planned that out. You know, I went with my brother to see it, And he's a much bigger Mortal Kombat fan than me. And he enjoyed the movie. He enjoyed the movie a lot, and he's a fan. So, you know, again, if you're a fan, I know you'll like it, because he did. Yeah, I don't think I haven't really been playing anything else. I've been playing a few, like, you know, Steam games, like, just like real cheapo Steam games that any computer would be able to run. And those are fun. I've been playing Scritchy Scratch, which is basically Cookie Clicker, but you're doing like little like gambling things. It's cute, it's fun, it's nothing that special, and I have not 100%ed it, but I'm kind of at the point where it's like, yeah, I'm close enough. I kind of feel like I've done everything I needed to. But yeah, I can't think of any. I feel like there's something I'm forgetting. I haven't been watching any TV. You know, no. There is a part of me that was like, hey, I should, because I'm probably going to go see that Mandalorian and Grogu. And there's a part of me that's like, hey, I should probably watch the Mandalorian. Because I've only seen the first season. I never saw season 2. Shit. I never saw season 2 or 3. God, I don't even know what Star Wars to watch. I did have, so my parents started that Darth Maul show, and my father was like, oh, this must take place before episode 1. Because as far as they know, Darth Maul dies in The Phantom Menace. And I had to explain, like, yeah, Darth Maul's still alive, you know, he survives that. I mean, he was in Solo, and they were like, really? I don't remember him in Solo. Which, I mean, to be fair, you probably shouldn't remember him in Solo, because it's such a nothing burger of a cameo for that Obi-Wan show that at the time was a movie before they canceled that and made it a TV show. Man, I remember being so excited for that Obi-Wan movie, and then they became a show, and then people didn't really like it, and I didn't even waste my time with it. Fucking whatever. But I should probably watch The Mandalorian, because I will probably see it. I don't know, right now it's on track to like pre-ticket sales or whatnot are not looking that well for The Mandalorian. Because, yeah, Star Wars just kind of, you know, I do not blame Kathleen Kennedy. You know, here's the thing. People are mad that Anita Sarkeesian is in Slay the Spire 2's credits, and they've been review bombing the game. I think that's bullshit. Gamergate was fucking bullshit. It was literally created by Jeffrey Epstein. I'm over the whole Gamergate thing. I never really was into it to begin with. You know, I was more in the skeptic community, which I regret. God, that was so fucking cringe. But looking back on it, it was all just dumb. And yeah, Anita Sarkeesian being in Slay the Spire 2 credits, good. I fully support it. And same thing with Kathleen Kennedy. Like, people blame Kathleen Kennedy for every problem. She's not. Not even fucking close. So I think that's all bullshit. And there are so many other problems with Star Wars that, yeah, literally I have not seen a single Star Wars project since Rise of Skywalker because it was so bad. But I know I would like Andor. Everyone who I know who saw Andor told me that I would like Andor. And I will probably like Andor. The problem is I just don't give a shit about Star Wars anymore. Like, God, they made Rise of Skywalker was so bad, it killed my love of Star Wars. And I love The Last Jedi, by the way. That's top 3 Star Wars for me. Fuck, man, it fucking sucks. It was such like a core integral part of my childhood, Star Wars, that just now I just fucking hate it. I don't even hate it, I just don't care. I think this vast indifference is actually probably worse than hate. But that's just where we are. So yeah, there's Captain Toad. Really good game. I really hope we get another one. It's better than a 7 out of 10. I'll give it that. Really good, fun puzzle platformer. And yeah, I would love to see more. And now we go make Bowsette. Because that's the Bowsette crown. Alright, no, but now we are going to go do the Marble League. Alright, let me flip that over. Let me hit that. I do not remember for the life of me where we ended off. But, you know, I'll figure it out. I think we have like 2 or 3 events to do. Let's see, we have the 5-meter relay and the whatever that's called. Bowling. Oh god, bowling. Woo, marble. I'm gonna, you know, it's funny, I'm like lazy and I'm like, oh, I don't want to fix that. But also, I just do, it's very gray. I do need to fix it. Let's hit that, let's hit that.
An event that first made its appearance
that's
in the
very
original
quiet.
Marble League back in 2016 returns for the 22nd time. This is the Relay.
Relay is a classic.
I'm Greg Woods. What's also back is the Showdown. Yes, these are for the teams that did not make it to the Marble League and the ones that were auto-relegated from the last time we had the Showdown as well. So the auto-relegated...
Oh, so we will occasionally get to see our team and root for our team.
Right there. You finish at
That's
the
good.
bottom
I'm
of
happy.
The Showdown. That means you don't even make it to the qualifiers. You just automatically go.
Okay, so at some point,
Showdown.
Team Galactic
Wolfpack
will
and
show up.
Rollers will advance here.
That's
out
good.
of Heat
And I
A,
actually
Balls of
don't mind
Chaos,
them
and
doing the
Rangers
Showdown during
do
the main
not
show.
make it. And Rangers,
I actually feel like that,
and
it's spacing it out is better. And it's probably easier on production, I would assume.
Rolling away, they purposely put
Unless
a
they,
lot of
you know,
space out there
already just do it. I don't know. Who am I to
athletes
judge?
are really hurtling down this course. Gliding Glaciers, Momo, Turtle Sliders, and Jawbreakers next up.
Boo, Turtle Sliders, boo.
Through the second handoff. Now on the top side. Watch to the bottom.
And yet
Turtle
they still
Sliders,
won.
I think, held on.
Those turtley sliders. Being all turtley
Yes, they did,
and
but half a roll
slidery.
was all. They will advance along with the Jawbreakers, Gliding Glaciers, and Team Momo. They are done. This just the first event of the Showdown. We'll see several of these over time. Galactic Primary, Shining Swarm,
Here we
and
go.
the Limers
Come
up
on, Team Galactic.
Shining
There we
Swarm
go.
lost
That's
out.
what I'm
Galactic
talking
up top.
about.
Limers now in the bottom.
No,
It's a 3-marble heat.
That's close. I think we're second.
I think Shining
That was
Swarm
fucking close.
may have just gotten it. Yes.
We
so
had
Team
such a
Galactic,
lead
that was
there
also a
for
battle
so
between
long.
Second and third. Swarm get it.
We still get to continue, though. That's what matters.
About a 100th of a second. Minty Maniacs, Thunderbolts, Midnight Wisps, and Jungle Jumpers now in Heat D. Midnight Wisps, Minty Maniacs, they stretch their lead into the anchor, and they'll cruise home easy. One of the biggest margins we've seen so far over Midnight Wisps. Jungle Jumpers come in a distant third, and the Thunderbolts in last.
We're still in it. We actually
Limers
got a
are
chance
down.
here for
They
something.
go no further. 9th through 16th is set in this event of the Showdown. Also want to give a shout out to people who help make this whole thing work. And those are the team sponsors. You can select which team you want to support personally. And your name
All right,
appears
come
in
on.
the videos.
We're up against the Rojo Rollers
We're
and the
ready
Turtle
for
Sliders.
semifinal
They
A.
suck.
Minty
We got
Maniacs,
this.
Turtle Sliders, Rojo Rollers, Team Galactic. Rojo Rollers at the first handoff. Turtle Sliders.
Yeah,
now
there
ready
we
to lead.
go. That's
Galactic
what
on
I'm
the
talking
bottom, and they'll take it all
about,
the way.
baby.
They're through to the final, along with the Rojo Rollers.
Oh my gosh. Finally a win.
17-1-0
I mean, we still have to make it through the next
off
one.
of the Marble League record,
But
held by the Savage Speeders.
so, I'll take anything at the...
Midnight
I'm
Wisps,
desperate, man.
Shining
I'll take
Swarm,
anything at this
Jawbreakers,
point.
and the Wolfpack. Wolfpack came on very strong late in their race. Let's see if it happens here. They've got a
Ooh,
lot
that
of
was
ground
a
to make
bad
up.
handoff
Top
for some of
side.
them.
Wisps bring it home. Jawbreakers come through. Just under a 10th back, and they are also off into the final. What that means, 5th through 8th, they are set. Turtle Sliders
just not
out
fourth.
on time over Wolfpack,
I'll
Shining
take
Swarm,
anything but
Minty
fourth.
Maniacs.
Please, Glob, please.
In the final, Rojo Rollers, Galactic, Midnight Wisps, and the Jawbreakers for the first points haul of the showdown.
We're better than all these
Rojo
teams.
Rollers in the top lane, they lead. Second lane, they're a dead heat
Okay.
with Galactic. Rojo Rollers
It's a silver.
pull away.
I'll take it.
And get the win.
It's a showdown silver. It's something. Because we do also have to avoid being low. Because if you get low enough in the showdown,
biggest lead so
then
far
you're just
there
straight
for
up
the Rojo
relegated
Rollers,
next
but
year.
now it is even with
You know,
Galactic.
they
It's
got rid
the
of
anchor
relegation
leg that
one
makes all
year
the difference.
and then immediately brought it back.
7-1-1-3.
So we
the
just have to
final
avoid
winning
showdown
time
relegation.
for the Rojo Rollers. Galactic gets second. Jawbreakers came from behind
Jawbreakers are
to
very...
capture
I mean,
third.
they've been retired for a few years now. So seeing Jawbreakers come back and do that well. Like, Midnight Wisps doesn't
Rojo
surprise
Rollers
me.
got quicker
You know, they
every
were a good
single
team
time
once.
they raced.
And Rojo
And
Rollers
they come away with 20 points.
aren't that good,
to
but
show
they're
for it.
good enough
Just
to
the
usually get into the
Thunderbolts,
main
they do
league
not
at least.
score any.
But I'll take it.
And so
I will take
they
it.
are as they were. First down through 16th, with relegation lingering, and only a few events to prove that you belong in the qualifiers next year. Was this
I was
the
thinking
winner?
about this. So I've been
It
seeing
is.
these
Tiny
animations.
3638.
Really good, really fun animations.
Yella says, bring back Sam
But it's
Marble
been making
Rally
me think,
vibes.
should I give
like
my
it.
marble eyes... Like,
Congratulations
I
on
feel like
winning
part of the charm
that contest.
is that we
Here's a
don't
quick
have
look at
eyes.
the
You know, we're
current
just like an
standings for the
actual
Marble League proper.
picture
Now
of
we
a
are done
marble.
with the showdown part
I
of the
think
video.
that's cute.
They step
But I was
aside
thinking,
graciously
like, should we
and
have
give us the
eyes?
A.
Should I do
Snowballs,
that?
Oceanics,
Because I can see
and
the charm
Indigo
in that.
Stars.
You know,
Very
giving us
even
like
until
little
the
Waddle
handoff.
Dee Kirby
Easy
eyes.
for the Snowballs.
It's something I've been thinking about. I don't know, maybe if I give up on you, because we live in a modern age where these
6,
VTubers
9, 4,
are doing
6.
less traditional models.
That is
Like,
a
you
very
know,
strong
for the most
time.
part, a lot of models, love it or hate
Compared to
it,
the 6-9
are just
08
anime
record
girls.
held
I know there are
by
also
the
anime
Savage Speeders,
boys,
Plasma,
and there are some people who are just
Bumblebees, and
gooner,
Cobalt.
straight up gooner bait.
Bumblebees and
Which,
Plasma,
you
very
know,
close through the first hand.
love it or
Even
hate it.
Closer now. Plasma.
But there's
with the anchor.
we're seeing more non-traditional VTubers. That Peanut guy who I do not like, and his fucking ripoffs are
Second
even
place
worse.
to the Bumblebees.
But I see the appeal of it.
Cobalts
And so us
and
being
Crazy
like
Cat's
a
Eyes,
photorealistic
they are
picture of a
eliminated.
marble with
The team sitting
cartoon
ninth
eyes and a
10th
mouth,
in the standings.
I can see
Green
that being
Ducks,
cute.
Mellow Yellow,
It's
Savage
definitely
Speeders,
something
and
I'm
the Hazers.
considering experimenting with. Let me put it like
big one.
that.
Huge handoff for the Hazers. It continues, but Savage Speeders are going to make a race out of it. All they wanted to do was advance, and they have done just that. It was closer than I think they anticipated. Green Ducks, of course, winners of this event in the past as well. And they come through in third. They do not move on. Blackjacks, Pinkies, Raspberry
here we are,
Racers,
Raspberry
and
Racers.
Solar Flares. Raspberry Racers first to the first handoff, but now they lose it, and they get it back.
They took it.
Over the line, Raspberry Racers had to fight for
You know what
it.
else is nice about the showdown
So
being
too
in the
did Pinkies
events?
in second place.
Is that, like, if your team doesn't make it, instead of, having to wait for the showdown, however that long that takes, with the showdown being
9th
split
through
up
16th,
between the
they are
events,
set.
it means that,
Blackjacks
instead of
just
having
miss
to
out.
wait,
Green
like,
Ducks, Cobalts, Mellow
12
Yellow, Solar
events
Flares, Crazy Cat's Eyes,
for the
Indigo
showdown.
Stars,
It's like, no,
and
every,
the
like, 4
Oceanics.
events, I get to see my team and I get to root for them.
Also want to give a big
That's
shout
good.
out to all of our YouTube members. Different tiers that you can invest. The VIP seats, the attendance and ticket, and of course the Friends of Yella tier.
Yeah, as always,
your
go
name
check
up
them
there?
out on
If you don't,
Patreon.
There's still time. You could.
They're a great
Ready for the
thing, and I
semifinal. Hazers,
recommend supporting them.
Bumblebees, Snowballs and the Pinkies. That's not going to be confusing at all. Snowballs big lead again. The battle is for second place, and it will go to the Hazers. Close between third and fourth, Pinkies and Bumblebees, just a couple of hundredths apart. But a 7-1-3-5 sends the Snowballs off to the final. Chocolatiers, Plasma, Savage Speeders, and Raspberry Racers.
Come on.
Down they come. Chocolatiers up top.
That's
Now
what I'm
Raspberry
talking
Racers on the
about.
bottom.
Raspberry
They will
Racers
go
and Savage Speeders.
along
Two
with
top
the
teams that
Savage Speeders.
I would expect to be around here.
Raspberry Racers have never won this event. But they
Really?
are off to the final, and they have a chance.
I mean,
They're gonna
Savage
have to
Speeders, it
face
makes
the
sense.
Savage Speeders. who
Really?
are perhaps
Raspberry
saving
Racers
up
have
their
never
energy.
won this?
They've won this event 5 times in the Marble League, and it's different disciplines.
Holy
Pinkies,
shit,
Bumblebees,
5
Chocolatiers, and Team Plasma round out 5th through 8th. And while we wait with bated breath, we give our finalists a little breather. But you can have your breath taken away by setting up your own marble competitions however you want. Check out the Hyperloop and the Skyway Chase, plus all of the team sets, and, of course, the collector's set. With all 32 of your favorites.
I have Mother's Day
Raspberry
stuff today,
Racers,
obviously.
Savage Speeders, Hazers,
But maybe
and the
I'll do
Snowballs.
that. Maybe I'll
Off they come. Hazers.
maybe
will
I'll
be
see if I
first
can
in
get
the
it.
handoff.
God, that was
Savage
such a
Speeders
big
are
lead
last.
for the Hazers. Oh, and we get
Hazers come all
third.
the way and win it
Okay.
for the
It's
first
something.
time in the Marble League.
But wow, that was
They won it in the
that was a
qualifiers.
huge
This time
lead
it's
for
the
the
big one.
Hazers.
Savage
Look
Speeders
at that.
had a very slow start
Holy
and
crap.
handoff. Lingered
The handoff
in
there was
fourth
not-
throughout most of that
I mean, it
race.
wasn't terrible, but it wasn't
Hazers
great
disappearing
either.
off into the distance. An excellent effort in that bottom lane
Holy
for the
crap.
eventual silver medalist Snowballs.
Yeah, with a better handoff, they could have
Raspberry
easily gotten
Racers,
under
they come through
7.
and get the bronze.
Wow.
Their third bronze in the relay. For the Snowballs, that means now they have the entire collection of medals from the relays. 2 wins, 1 bronze, and now a silver to show for it. The Hazers also got quicker every single time that they raced. Shout out from David, sending love from all the booksellers at Golden Fig Books. Hashtag let chaos reign. Only appropriate you put 5 exclamation points after that.
You know, a bronze, we needed
I would
something.
agree. Balls of
And
Chaos
getting a
do
bronze is nice.
Just that. Every time they're
That'll
out there.
get us up a few
Hazers,
spots,
though,
hopefully.
They get the gold medal standing up on top. That's the 9th for the team and the 20th medal overall. First relay medal. Gold for the team.
The Hazers needed it as well.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, because we're 13th and
to
14th
our
down there.
champions.
That'll move
in
us up
the
5
relay.
slots. Nice.
That moves them up 10 spots into 4th. Snowballs take
God,
over the top
yeah,
spot
that's
by a single
huge.
point over the Indigo Stars.
All right, let's do bowling.
For the 10th
Bowling
anniversary of
is
the
an
Marble
event
League,
I do not
we're
care
trying to
for.
host one event
You know,
from
usually,
each
if I remember
of the
correctly, how it
teams
usually goes is your first
have
hit's
put
very
on
good,
over the last decade
and then your
plus.
second hit is always
And what
garbage.
better to
Doesn't
host
matter
an
who
event
you
with
are,
Pinkies
what team you're
than
on.
bowling. Hey, everybody. I'm Greg
I hope
Woods,
we do a
the
demo at some point.
Maniacs who were co-hosts
Admittedly,
back in
I've not been paying
2024.
attention
They
to
get
every
started.
demo and like who's
They
doing
launched
what.
down the ramp and
But
careening into
if they're
those
getting other
bowling
teams to do
pins,
demos,
dominoes,
teams that are in the
we're
showdown,
gonna have 2 team
I hope we
members
do a
go,
demo
and
at some
scores will be
point.
added together. The goal, of course, is to knock down
Give
as
us
many
our-
as possible.
one of our
but
good
with
events.
A little caveat. Certain colors are
I know
worth
block
more
pushing's
points
not in
than
it this
others.
year,
Things at the back,
and I know we're
other
usually
ones,
a pretty
they're worth
decent
more.
block pushing
Interesting
team.
dynamic.
At least
that
I
we
think
see
we
there,
are.
Bouncing off the back wall and collecting.
I do
one
not
of
have
those
encyclopedic
LED
sports knowledge.
Dominoes.
Like, if you
With
ask
5
some,
cents
like,
apiece, by the way.
baseball
You notice
fans,
the reds on the corners,
like,
on the back row,
they
don't
have
hit those.
encyclopedic
They will take
knowledge of
away
their
3
team,
points
and I just
each time
don't.
you knock one of those down. Snowballs lead.
I don't think that makes me like a
overall
fake
championship
sports fan.
with 2 medals,
But-
they have yet to capture a gold. Indigo Stars, they have done it.
I
They're
don't
sitting
know.
in second place,
That's
but
just
only
not who I
just.
am.
Savage Speeders.
Even with, like, video
they are
games that I
first
love.
competitor,
That's just
and
not
it's
how I
a
work.
dead center hit from Rapidly. Good domino action there, collecting all the way back to those LEDs. That's 25 points. Not too bad. What is the strategy for Swifty? Straight through the gap. Not what you wanted to do. Now, marbles have had
See,
a couple
that's how
years
it works
to think
with
about this event.
The second
They were all
ball
shocked
is
the first time it was
always
hosted
bad.
in the Marble League because they did
Almost
things just like
always
that.
in bowling.
And they thought, okay, we've got to
At least that's what I remember.
reassess how we approach this event. Some of them told me they've got some creative strategies for how better to tackle bowling than the last time around. Could this be one of them? Firo.
The last time I remember bowling was at
Plasma.
Winter
For dead center, perhaps
23?
making it easier.
Maybe it was Winter 24.
Ecto, who's
I
gonna
always
come
get
next.
years wrong.
24 points. That's
And it
1
just-
point
I
off
remember
of
it
the
not
Savage
going
Speeders
well.
total. But they got a 0 in run number 2. What can Ecto do?
At least they hit it on the rebound.
You cannot change your pathway. Change on the bounce. That is something that is new for this year, or at least is going to be featured more prominently, I should say. Any dominoes that are knocked over after bouncing on the back wall, totally fair game.
Yeah, and
So Team
sometimes
Plasma
you gotta.
nets 35 points.
It's not the most optimal
Easily moving
situation,
past
but
the Savage
it's
Speeders.
something.
Here's Snowy for the Snowballs. Also a left of center and peeling outward once the impacts began. To
See,
collect
there's a part of me with
29
dominoes
points. So 2 teams
where
so
I
far
wish,
opted to
because
put
this
their
is supposed to be
captain in the
bowling.
First run.
I wish they would
Here's
set them up
Snowball.
like bowling pens, where like you
Tries
actually.
the same thing, but
Because
doesn't
if you
do it.
notice, they're all in straight lines.
Tries
Whereas
the
with
same
actual
thing we saw
bowling
Ecto
pens,
attempt
they're
and do
offset
rather
with one
successfully.
another.
Ecto got 11
And there's
more
a part of me
points
that
for
would like, hey,
Instead, the
maybe
Snowballs
if they
will get
were
0.
offset,
It's
it would
one
make
thing
things
to
more
come up
interesting.
with the strategy and think you
But
know how to tackle bowling.
Also, I
It's
know
another thing
that's a
actually to
price
do
to
it.
pay.
Here is Razzie,
You know, it
the
makes
captain
stuff
of the
easier to knock
Raspberry
down.
Racers. And that's a good hit right
Yeah,
on
I
the
mean,
nose
it took out a lot up front.
and created enough chaos, even getting that domino action right at the end. 27 points.
Yeah, that's good.
Rozzy next up.
And
Fuck,
fuck, just straight down.
And had the same result.
Oh my
Another
gosh,
0.
that's not good. I mean, we'll
Rozzy.
be in third, but there's no way we
Raspberry
stay in
Racers
third.
in the third.
Ugh.
Only the Savage Speeders have fewer points. Bingo for the Indigo Stars, that team that is sitting really nicely. And wow, what a cascade.
Yeah, that.
The second
Because they got that
action right there
diagonal,
had
and that diagonal got
multiple
them so
rows
much.
knocking down, and that's a 64.
Wow.
Those dominoes removed. It's going to be enough to put them into first place easily, regardless of what Gogo does. But any extra
But
dominoes
also-
here? Yes.
Yeah, that's also not
This
terrible.
is a heck of a points total, and it's a new Marble League
Wow.
record. It beats the 70 that the Solar Flares did the last
Ooh,
time the
crap.
Marble League hosted bowling.
But also,
back
boo,
in
Indigo Stars,
2024.
boo.
It's 77 points. Indigo Stars with a healthy margin. Still really early on, though. Any teams that can collect multiple points, especially on their second run, it's going to position them well. Thank you for positioning all of your teams well by sponsoring them. Shout out to everybody who is putting their weight behind their favorites. Hopefully you will see the result of that support and the confidence that your marbles display. The Hazers choose Misty to go first. And that's also a really good angular hit.
We did not do that
Kind of
one.
carves across and toward the top
Eef,
there.
that's
34
not going to help
points
us.
for Misty. Perhaps opening the door for Foggy. Oh, I
Nope.
didn't mean walk right through it.
Nope.
Oh, I thought by going at an angle,
Yeah, bowling is
that made a straight run
not
by
exactly
Foggy
going well this year.
more likely to yield some
Still better
dominoes
than
getting
us,
knocked down.
but
Instead, it puts them
still.
just on 34 points. That's one behind Team Plasma. Spade for the Blackjacks. Also a hit right on the center, but does get some of that action down on the bottom
Yeah,
here.
that one stray pushed him out.
And that's a really good total. 45 alone. That's enough to put them into second place. Can Club add to the Blackjacks total? Yes. Oh,
wow.
but
They got a
also knocked
red,
over a
but
red.
even still.
I mean, some points will come off, but did topple a couple of yellows plus the LED. 29 more points.
That's still pretty
and that
good.
Puts them at
I wonder what the
74
maximum is.
Within striking distance.
That
of the
all,
Marble
if you
League
take
record,
out
it would have beaten the
everything
old one.
but the reds.
So unfortunately, they are not past
What would the
Indigo
max be?
Stars, who just reset it. Here come the Bumblebees,
I saw that red
and that
wobble.
red domino at the top quivered.
Yeah, they hit it on the
on
recoil.
the
just
rebound.
not enough.
It did not fall, however. You can bump against them. That's fine, as long as they don't tumble over. From Stinger to Honey. That's how it's done. Taking a different route than your teammate and getting a little something extra on the rebound to the opposite side. 19. That's one of the best second run totals that we have
Which
seen
is
so
sad,
far. Not quite
based
the
on how everything's been
29 that
going.
Club got for the Blackjacks. But they'll take it. This is a nice one. Square.
That's
onto
not
the
bad.
nose of the triangle.
Not bad at all.
And got that
But they're
going to
send it straight down the middle.
Different columns. 61.
Yeah, no,
points
61
for
is
Green
great.
Eye.
But they're gonna whop
Cat's
it.
eyes are in it.
They're gonna go straight down.
What can
and
Blue Eye do? Can Blue
Blue
Eye
Eye-
send them to the top of the sheets? Perhaps set a new Marble League record?
see,
That's a
what did
big
I say?
no.
They left too big a gap.
Granted, that is a very big split.
And getting
as
like
well. It would
usually
take
deviation
a lot of action
is a
to get
bad
that marble
thing.
moving to the side.
But that's kind of what these
They have
marble.
to
They
tap
need to
into
be
some of their curling
training.
experience
And
to
like,
get
hey, if
any
your first guy
dominoes
does
there.
well,
That is the
you
risk
need
of
to
a
be able to
really
get some
good
curve
first
on
run.
things.
And I think
Because I feel like
Marbles
most of
haven't
them
really
just
come to
send it
terms with
straight
that.
down the
I
middle.
think they've understood
Both
that you need
goes.
to differ
And that's
your
really
runs.
what's costing them.
But there can be too much action that is done on the first roll, leaving it very difficult for the second marble to get much of anything. Ember rolls through with a 35-point total. That's not too bad. What can Radiance do? Saved some at the back.
Yeah,
Picked off
but
a
you
couple
got
of
all
yellows
that
and
side.
an LED. 13 more points.
I mean, it puts them in
into
fourth.
place. After 10 runs, just 3 points separate.
We did
the
not as bad as the
teams.
Savage Speeders, but we
Indigo
still did
Stars
pretty
and Blackjacks
bad.
into the 13 back
Yeah.
to the Crazy Cat's Eyes, and then it's the Solar
That
Flares.
sucks.
If you like where your team is sitting, check out the team sets and how to race them. You can get the Collector Series that has all 32 marbles, but you can race them on the Skyway Chase or the Hyperloop set. Another way that you
make
can
your own.
support your favorite marble
Yeah, after
event.
you know, buy the two
Also,
sets.
big shout out to our
and then
YouTube
start
members. If you're not familiar with
experimenting.
YouTube membership, check
I
it
saw
out.
someone
Different
trying to like
tiers that you can be a
3D
part
print
of.
marble runs,
And get your
and
name
like the
on
struggle, how their
screen
like
for the
pieces were
rest of
breaking.
the Marble League. The Green Ducks open things up in run
So
number
like at least with
11
this, you wouldn't
Ducky,
have that problem.
and that was
That's
a
the
strong
trade-off.
showing. Ducky just carrying enough speed to linger in the middle, and as a result, lots of dominoes hitting the others, and a
I'm so hungry.
53-point score.
I did not
is
do lunch.
impressive.
You know, I said we came here and did
How can
this,
Quacky follow that up?
and I should have done lunch.
Oh, almost knocked over
my
that
gosh,
front
am I
domino
hungry.
on the rebound, but couldn't get the action. Look at the spinning backwards, trying to add some curve. Quacky desperately trying to change the angle and couldn't do it. Green Ducks still happy with that result. Chocolatiers now with their captain Bon Bon. Shaved off a lot of the left side,
Yeah.
that top side, but managed to miss
If
that
they
red
can get
domino.
one like straight
So
down
no
the
points taken
middle,
away. 2 LEDs
that like
come
ricochets
down.
a little bit, they might
Puts
be in a
Bon
good
Bon
spot.
a total of 33. Chocolatier sitting middle of the pack, by the way, in the overall standings. 22 points compared to the Snowballs' 47. And
I
that's a
mean,
good second
that's
run. 2 more
not
LEDs,
bad.
3 more yellows.
I don't know how much it's going to help.
A
It'll definitely get them
handful
high
of
up,
the
but I
pinks.
just don't know.
Pinks, of course,
Yeah,
worth
70.
2 points each. The purple worth 1. 37 for Mocha puts them at a 70. Third place.
Well, the fact that
for the Chocolatiers.
that's the third run to either tie with or do better than the previous world record.
They're 6th in the standings.
It does show that, yeah, they're getting better at it year over year. But also, it just tells me how bad some of those old runs were.
Sometimes they just misplace where they put that strength. That's exactly what happened there, only knocking down the outer shells of that triangle. And only getting 11 points. Can yellow do better? Yes, indeed. 3 of the LEDs.
Okay.
Look at that.
It's
chaos
okay.
that was created back there. Dominoes lying on other dominoes. That is scored, by the way. Knocked him down. And that puts Mellow Yellow into 6th. Here come the Oceanics. Myriad.
Oh,
Excellent opening roll.
I mean, that's the first 3 middle. The question is, though, are they just going to whiff it and go straight down?
The marble not having to do all of the work.
God, 70 on just the first one.
Go flying backwards.
Holy, I mean, that puts them in, what, 4th regardless?
It's not the marble physically doing it.
If they can just get a little bit of side.
Energy and spread things around. Creative on the second run by Siren. Just missing that red
That puts them in second, wow.
But it did not fall. 75 is the total for the Oceanics, and it puts them into 2nd place. Wow, if that red domino would have fallen, would have put him into the bronze instead. Here come the Cobalts, 2 teams left. Effective for Meepo. 48. That one LED domino just punched backward to the wall. It didn't fall down. It was sent there. Gnome for the second run.
Now,
also created,
and hitting the red.
But a red domino did fall on the bottom side. Look at that one. The pink got into it. You lose 3 points. But the Cobalts still end with 58. That puts them into 6th. And I think they're going to be happy about that for a team sitting in 12th in the overall standings.
And our hosts
now the
are the last ones to go.
2-time winners of this event, once in the Marble League, once in Marble Maniacs. And they are proud to host, but not the proudest to knock down that red domino at the top. How did they do it? It was a delayed reaction. Pinky Winky almost trying to get over there to prevent it, but could not do it. Pinky Rosa, the final run of these games. It's going to take a big one to get the Pinkies on top of the charts. And that's not going to be enough.
No. They needed it when they hit. They needed to go left.
29 more for a total of 46. Pinkies finished top
right
10.
Left. However you want to phrase it.
They do not come back and win this event. Still, as hosts, they are always proud. And they love to finish in the top 10 if they can. Indigo Stars, however, continue their excellent run in Marble League 26.
Absolutely terrible.
77 points is a new Marble League record and wins them the gold. Ben Stevens, Inner West Sydney is Duck Country, Quack Attack. Shout out to Lecontro, Capriccio, and Dom Panino. Congratulations to Bingo and Go-Go, who wear the gold medals.
Boo,
That's the
Indigo
third
Stars,
for the team,
boo.
5th overall. Those 2 marbles, they've never won the gold before, the 2 of them, so well done. Congratulations to our other podium finishers, the Oceanics, getting the silver, and the Blackjacks.
All right, this is going to drop us.
In the overall standings, predictably, that does send the Indigo Stars to the
5.
top.
Oh my god.
Good gap between them and the Snowballs. Solar Flares in third.
Basically, all the progress we got by winning a bronze, we just immediately lost. Shit. Not doing as bad as these 2 though. Ooh, that's not good. Alright, so I think that's what we're gonna call it for today. I guess that takes us to our outro. So we will be back next week. Definitely talking about the Parade of Horribles. That's the big thing we've got. We're gonna, see what is the Parade of Horribles. That ominous thing the AI says is coming. I don't know, like I said, I don't know if we'll finish the book, but we will definitely be working on it next week. So I'm very excited to talk about that, my initial thoughts. And then Sheep Detective, and then there may be one other movie next week as well. I don't think I have any think I have any TV shows. I just don't care about anything right now on TV. I don't know. Do we have any movies outside of Chief Detective? No, I don't think so. Nothing new next week. So, yeah. Shrek's 25th anniversary. What? And the week after that's The Mandalorian. Whatever. This is where we're going to end off for today. So, I hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. Until next time, peace.